الله الرحمن الرحيم
Assalamu alaikum. Today it is Tuesday, the 5th of July 2022, and in our series Reflections on the Holy Quran, this is broadcast number 333. These days we are looking at the words of Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 102 of the Holy Quran, and this is the 14th broadcast in this series. These broadcasts are brought to you courtesy of Laser, Lahore India School of Education in Religion, which is a department, a branch of Ahmadiyya Anjuman Islam, or also known as Lahore Ahmadiyya Movement. The founder of the Ahmadiyya movement was Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayh. His teaching was that although other people say that after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, prophets can come, this is incorrect, because the Holy Quran says that the Holy Prophet was Khatamun Nabiyyin. And the Holy Prophet explained the meanings of this expression by saying that it means La Nabi Abadi. There is no prophet after me. So now no prophet is going to come, whether it is a new prophet or an old one. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed that he was a mujaddid in a series or chain of mujaddids like Mujaddid al-Afsani and Hazrat Shah Waliullah and Sayyid Ahmad Shaheed, etc., in accordance with the hadith of the Holy Prophet that when Muslims need them, reformers or mujaddids will arise. But he said his distinction from other mujaddids in this series was that he was also the Messiah and Mahdi who had been promised in the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This, of course, gave rise to difference of opinion. Some people accepted it, others didn't accept it. And those who didn't accept it started saying that these people are kafirs and out of Islam and so on. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's teaching was that the Holy Prophet had said that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima that you are not a Muslim, this verdict of heresy falls upon the person who initiates it. So yes, you can have a difference of opinion, but it doesn't mean to say that you should abuse your brothers and sisters in such ways. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayh also taught that although others believe that some revelation of the Holy Prophet is not in the Holy Quran, like Ayah Rajam, etc. And they also believe that some verses of the Holy Quran, which are a part of the Quran, they've been rescinded, abrogated, cancelled. They no longer apply. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said this cannot be right because Allah says that I have revealed it and I will protect it. So when God takes the responsibility of protecting something, how can things get missed from it? Or how can it have things, verses, which Muslims are no longer required to act upon? He taught that the Holy Quran is complete and it is perfect. And he also taught that jihad is a fundamental duty of every Muslim. But other brothers take this to mean that you pick up the sword and force people to embrace Islam, and if they don't, you cut their heads off. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said, what we have to do is look at the Holy Prophet Muhammad's interpretation of jihad, who, when returning from fighting, said Muslims are returning from jihad-e-asghar, the minor jihad, to jihad-e-akbar, the major jihad, and then explained that the major jihad is that Muslims, jihad bin nafs, that Muslims struggle with their own selves, with their own souls, to avoid the wrong thing. Of course, if you're attacked with the sword, you're going to use the sword in response. You're not going to give an eloquent lecture about the beauty of Islam. But in normal events, jihad-e-asghar is a struggle with your own desires and to control them. As I've said previously, this is quite a long verse of the Holy Quran, so I'm not going to recite the whole of it every day, but only the phrase that we are going to look at. So today we are looking at words of this phrase. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويتعلمون منهما ما يفرقون به بين المرء وزوجه. And they learn from these two those things which make a distinction between a man and his wife. And today we are going to look at the last 4 words of this phrase, bihi, baina, mari, and wazojihi. So the first one, bihi, is quite easy. It consists of 2 segments, be and he. And the first one, that's just a connecting word. It's prefixed preposition. And the next word, he, is a pronoun. And it means with it. Next word is baina, and its triliteral root is ba, ya, noon. Using these three letters, 13 words have been made and found in the Holy Quran. And in total, they appear 523 times. 266 times as bain, 119 times as mubin. What else have we got? 71 times as bayinat, and 35 times as bayanu, and 18 times the bayyana. And I missed 190. No, I think I mentioned mubin 119 times. And the rest occur few times, like 2, 3 times or once or whatever. So the root ba, ya, noon, it means the distance. It means in between two things. For example, وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرْعًا, chapter 18, verse 32. And between those two things, we had produce, crops. And it also means relationship. Yoba la yanfa'u ma'alim wala banun. Chapter 26, verse 88. And on that day, your possessions, your wealth will not benefit you or your children. So they cannot come in between what you did and your punishment. And similarly, لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله, chapter 49, verse 1. That is that do not speak, do not interrupt Allah and His Prophet. So, some people, particularly in our countries, they have this habit of someone is speaking and then they start interrupting and so on. Again, فَقَدِّمُوا بَيْنَ يَدَيْ نَجْوَاكُمْ صَدَقَةً, chapter 58, verse 12. So before asking, give something in charity. So it comes in between. Giving in charity comes between your asking. And In Urdu, we have words like bayan. In Arabic, we have al-bayan, which actually means to explain, to make clear. Like the Holy Quran says, "Qad bayyana lakumul ayat," chapter 3, verse 180. And we clearly showed you, explained to you our commands. Or another one, Shahru Ramadan allazi unzila fihi al-Quran hudallin nasi wa bayyinati. Chapter 2, verse 185. Ramzan is the month during which revelation of the Holy Quran started, which guides people. Now, so the Holy Quran comes in between. So you have a period when there was no revelation from God, and then after the Holy Quran, you have a period when there is revelation from God. And what divides the two periods is the Holy Quran. And we also have a technical term, talaq bain, because it also means terminate, separate. Because when you're coming, like the example of Ramadan, you are separating two periods, before and after. You see this in advertisements, don't you? You have advertisements for pills and exercise machines and everything. Then you have before and after. Before, you see this person, large and flabby. And after using that exercise machine or those pills, you have the same person, and they're all fit and slim and so on. So we have this term, talaqan bain, the divorce that terminates the relationship between a husband and wife. And actually, in that sense, this is a legal term of fuqaha. The Quran itself takes this to mean that the nikah has been terminated. And al-bayan, which is also used in Urdu, bayan, explanation, making something clear, to bring something forward. So in that sense, there's an expression, bayna shajara. And what that means is that the leaves have appeared on a tree. And the same expression is used for flower buds that first appear before they become flowers and so on. So you can see from this, how wide the meanings of the Arabic words are. And then we have the root meem, ra, hamza. And these three letters are combined to give us 6 different words, or derived forms as they're called in grammar, which in total appear in the Holy Quran 38 times. 26 times as Imrat, and 5 times as Imri. So that's 31. And that takes care of most of the occurrences. So, interestingly, people think that this only means women, but it actually means person. If you're going to mean only women, then the word used in Arabic would be nisa. Although there is a definition of this word, al-mar'atu wal-maratu, and that means woman. But it also, the general broader meaning of this thing is person. In English, when you say person, then it can be a man, a woman. It can be either. So, as I always say, we should think about these things carefully and not just take these things at face value. And next we have the word wazawjihi. Wazawjihi consists of 3 segments. Wa, which is the connecting word, and he at the end is the pronoun, and zawji is the noun in the middle. And its triliteral root is zay, wa, jeem. And we found in the Quran 2 words made from this root, occurring a total of 81 times. And Zawj appears 76 times as Zawjat. Sorry, no, it's not Zawjat. It's Zabwajat. Zabvijat. Zabvijat, I beg your pardon. That appears 5 times. And again, generally translated as wife. But it depends on the context. It actually means, in terms of humans, it actually means spouse. So in English, when you're talking about spouse, X is spouse. Now, if X is male, spouse is female. If X is female, spouse is male. But it also means pairs. It also means kind or type. So, but somehow in Urdu we bring these words in and we then restrict their meanings to, something very restrictive. And the result is that, I've repeated this so many times, that when we do that, when someone uses the word in a wider sense, as in Arabic, then we get upset because we think someone is twisting the Holy Quran or something. And Hazrat Masih Maud Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib, he has commented on this and he says, I'm puzzled. If you use a word in your writings using the meaning as it is in Arabic, people get upset. But if you translate the same word and use Urdu terminology, people think, oh, that's fine, that's all right. So, as I was explaining, a zoj, in those living things where you have male and female, you're talking about male, zoj is female. If you're talking about female, zoj is male. But the interesting thing is, and the Holy Quran refers to this. وَجَعَلَ مِنْهُ زَوْجَيْنِ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنْثَى, chapter 75, verse 39. And there were two types, male and female. See, when in Al-Baqarah, verse 35, when talking about Adam and his wife, the Holy Quran says, وَزَوْجُكَ الْجَنَّةَ, you and your wife, because you, Adam. So his zoj will be a female. And but this doesn't just apply to human beings. The same thing is applied to things like socks and shoes and that kind of thing. And the point is, okay, let's look at shoes. You have two shoes. They're the same size. They have the same color. They have the same design. But if you put the left shoe in the right foot, you won't be able to push your foot in. And the same with the other shoe. So together they complete the task, and that is to protect your feet. When you have the right shoe in the right foot and the left shoe in the left foot, they're in the right place together. They serve the purpose for which they are created. And that is what people forget. That what God is saying by using the word zoj is that the man on his own is incomplete. The woman on her own is incomplete. They are completed when they're brought together. Just like this example of the shoe that I gave. They serve the purpose for which they are created when they are together. Just like the shoe. A pair of shoes will only serve its purpose. I mean, if you only had one shoe, what would you do? You'd just discard it. Maybe throw it in the bin or whatever. You wouldn't keep it because it's not serving its purpose. And that is, I think, the philosophy behind using the word zoj, which is much better than husband, wife, mia, bihi, and this kind of thing. And the Quran mentions this in many places. Chapter 51, verse 49, وَمِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَا زَوْجَيْنِ. And all the things we created in pairs. There were two types. Subhanallazi khalaqal azwaj. Glory be to the being who created pairs of everything. And so on. But there's an important thing that we must remember. A misunderstanding, and Muslims are the ones responsible for making Islam a butt of jokes and criticism and so on. In chapter 72, verse 20, the Holy Quran says, Zawwajnahum bihurin qeen. And he will give them Zoj. This is talking about heavens. Now, whenever Maulanas explain this, they say, oh, you do good deeds and so on and so forth, and you'll go to heaven and you'll get these beautiful hurs and so on. And hur has become synonymous with a beautiful woman. But that's not what this verse is saying. Okay, let's ask a question. Is that only for men? What about women who are pious? What about them? What will they get? And that's the whole point. That Zawwajna, the word here means companions. That whoever is pious and good and so on, they will get a similar companion in the hereafter. And not that it's just for men who will get women. And, people have, I don't know how authentic these hadiths are, that, some of them which are mentioned that there'll be so many hurs and 72 hurs and so on and so forth. This is against the spirit of Islam and the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran says that whoever does good will go to heavens, and there will be companions for them who are just like them. So it applies both to men and to women. We have run out of time, so I take my leave of you with the prayer that whoever you are and wherever you may be, may Allah keep everyone safe and sound and free from harm. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, goodbye.